All right, all right. Welcome back to another episode of the Critics Collective. I'm Legacy Lingo, and I have Brandon V. Fletcher here with me, and we're here to discuss with you another episode of Your Friends and Neighbors. Now, we already did a review on the first 5 episodes, a mid-season review, and it was a spoiler discussion, much like this one. So if you haven't seen it, please go watch the episode and come back. If you've watched these episodes and you want to get involved in the discussion, that's what this is. We're going to talk freely, spoilers and all, how we feel about it, and what we hope will come from it. Okay. So we did say we were just gonna do the first half and then do after the next 5 episodes, come back for the finale. But this episode has has pushed us now. We're gonna do episode by episode now. This episode has pushed us to it. We're gonna do the last 5 episodes one by one. And this is episode 6, and it's titled For Everything Else, There Was Bowling. All right. And as we know, basically, when episode 5 ended, Coop's father passed. So this is the episode dealing with Coop and his family as they navigate through the funeral service, the wake and the funeral service, and all of that opportunity that's about to build and unfold. So I want to say this first. I actually, watching this episode, out of all the episodes, this one actually made me upset this one actually left me wanting more than any other episode. This one actually made me wish that I had saved it and binged it, because when it was done, I was like, I want more. And even though it wasn't as epic as any of the other episodes, it still left me wanting a lot more. But before I get into it, I'll let you have the floor. So how are you feeling about this episode, the funeral, the Coop and everything?
I think that it was one of those things where in my head I was like, oh my God, everything's so crazy, goes so crazy. And then they kind of took a step back. And it was kind of a chaotic episode, but it was also a bottle episode. I'm a sucker for a bottle episode, but it was a step back from the main plot lines, and it was basically all about the characters and what they're going through, them dealing with all these different emotions and all this kind of stuff. And they're all kind of stuck together, right? You know, everybody has their issues, but they're all kind of stuck together in this house, and they kind of forced to kind of deal with each other.
Right.
And so before we were talking about how things would play out for Coop's sister. And that was kind of the main thing where I was like, I'm thinking like, oh, she's going to crash out. I wouldn't say she did, because what ended up happening, one, it needed to happen. 2, it kind of gave you insight into the relationship with the mom. And I'm watching this whole thing. I'm like, oh, nobody can stand this woman.
When we got the little bits we got her before, the mom is the most hated character. And I was not surprised with the developments we got towards the end. But anyway, continue.
And that, to me, that was a big thing for me, because, you know, she spent this whole episode, right, trying to put a good face on, right? And she's putting on a good face, not because she's trying not to grieve, or she actively trying not to grieve to show people that her mental health is under control.
Right.
So she has this feeling like, if I show any kind of emotion, everybody's like, oh, here she go again being crazy.
Well, the mom especially. The first thing her mom asked her when she was crying was like, did you take your meds? Like, my dad just died. Like,
so I really felt bad for her, because like, she's like, hey, I'm fine. Everybody's like, hey, you okay? Like, look, somebody just died. A lot of other people are probably not okay either. Just because I have mental health issues, y'all don't have to keep like hounding me about this stuff, right? And so I love that part when she finally snapped and like let her know, you know, how she felt about everything. And the mom, what is wrong with her inviting Bruce? That was insane.
Yeah, the guy who was like the catalyst, the nucleus, whatever, to her mental breakdown, she invites him. But that just shows you how warped the thinking of the mom is. And that was when we talked about on episode at the end of episode 5. That was my biggest fear, was that the dad always did a good job of kind of like trying to anchor everybody and just like, hey,
Mhm.
without him, the mom was just going to be a hot mess. And and I was worried, like you said, that it was just going to explode. And I thought both characters, I was like, man, this is going to get so bad. It's going to be so embarrassing. And how do we reel it back to the story? But I love the fact that it got to a point where there was like these mini explosions, and then I just kept yelling at the TV, just leave. Just leave. Because they're not gonna understand your frustration. Like when the mom was giving away stuff and he wanted to talk to you, I thought it was over. I was like, oh God, no, they're not gonna understand where his anger's coming from. He's just gonna look like big bad angry man. His mom's gonna be like, oh, you know. But then he did leave, and where it went, with the moment to kind of just, bring it back to what it was about. It was about him and his relationship with his dad. I thought it was beautiful. I thought everybody, like you said, all the characters had their opportunity in the house. Even the mom and the daughter. Damn, I know I'm gonna have these characters already pulled up so I can talk about it, but I'm slipping. But the mom and the daughter, they kind of had like a truce where they're smoking. Yeah,
Oh yeah, Mel, and
yes. And it was still awkward, but all of these things was, I start seeing all these opportunities for the next few episodes more than that were beyond the arc. Like they abandoned the main arc because right now with Ashe and Coop, I don't really know. I don't really know what's going on. He told him, "Hey, you're on the list. You're good. You'll in a couple of weeks everything be straight." So I don't know what's next for them because he got what he wanted from him. He still hadn't given him, released him of the blackmail, but it basically has given them almost like a reset for a whole new a whole new, maybe continue the same arc or maybe just a whole new arc. I don't know. I kind of it made it a little bit more interesting for me. And that was one of the things I really wanted to know. Cause I was like, man, it just seems like he just got everything he wanted, except for the fact that he's not released to the blackmail. What's next? And then what's next for his sister because she seems to be handling it pretty well, even though the mom can be driving her crazy. And I'm like, man, they're really surprising me. And I think that's what I loved about it the most. It wasn't as predictable as I thought. And which is probably why we're talking about it now.
Yeah. I have a few things about Owen Ashe. This episode kind of gave me insight into him, and I kind of view him differently. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I could be absolutely wrong. But I now feel like this man is a sociopath. Because I think this episode put the Coke scene into context. Right? So he's doing a couple episodes ago, he's doing Coke and he's freaking out.
Right.
And then Coop drops everything and shows up to his house. And then Coop is like, yo, what's going on? He's like, oh yeah, man, whatever. I just had some Coke. What's up? Right. And like, that was it. Right?
Yeah.
And so then this episode, he shows up at the funeral and he's like, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I was invited, like blah, blah, blah. And and like, to me now, I'm just like, oh, he's just messing with Coop. Right? I felt like now I'm like, maybe the Coke thing was just him messing with him, right? Let him know, like, hey, I'm in control. Right? I'm always here. I always got my eye on you. Now he's at the funeral and being like, I'm here. I got invited here. I'm always around. You can't get away from me.
Wow.
And so to me, that's what I took from that episode. Again, I could be absolutely wrong. Right. And it also made me think about, like, it made me view everything up to this point in a different perspective. Because if he is the sociopath that I think he is, and if he is meticulous as I think he is, I think his eyes was on Coop before Coop even stole the watch. Or it was a watch, right?
It was a book. It was a book from his wife's collection.
Yeah, the book. Yeah. The white, yeah. So before he even stole the book. So now I'm thinking, like, because again, remember the fence was like, okay, the buyer, because he bought his own book back. How would he know? Right? He has to be in that world some way, right?
Right.
To like find the fence and do all this stuff. So like, I was thinking, sometimes writers do this and it's gonna be kind of far-fetched, but like, what if from the jump he was like, I need somebody to get me into this this
This list.
financial thing. And so he basically has his eyes on Coop. He's figuring that like, oh, this stuff is getting moved. It's coming from this neighborhood. Let me go ahead and move into the neighborhood. Let everybody know I'm rich, but don't tell them too much. Keep a little bit of mystery.
Mm-hmm.
And just hope that Coop will rob him. Because like he could have probably never even had that. Because I can imagine the writers doing a little flashback where he didn't even have the camera set up into his house already, right?
Mm.
He normally just doesn't have that set up, but he was like, oh,
Right.
Coop's going to come. He's just going to let me go ahead and set this up so I can get him on tape. And so like this could have been his plan from the beginning. Again, I said, I could be wrong, could be far-fetched, but I wouldn't be surprised if the writers pulled something like this just because he just seems like that type of person.
That's actually what I was hoping for. When we were talking in the last review, I was hoping that there will be, I was hoping that Coop wouldn't have acted so fast to come for him. And I was hoping that they would find another way for him to let him know, I know who you are, almost like he had basically chosen him, maybe from the whole arrest thing, and draw his attention to what he did for a living and a case. And he started looking into him. And like you said, like he already knew about him before he came there. It's like this part of the big plan. And I would love for the writing to go there, but I don't know if it actually will, but that's what I was also heading towards when I was like, man, I just wish that instead of him robbing him and getting caught up in this blackmail, that there was a bigger plan. And like, he basically, had chose him from the beginning, and that's why he's there. But the blackmail adds another element to it. And if we do go there, I'm still going to be pleased, even though we are calling this out now. I'll still be very happy because the level of mystery that they're giving us, there needs to be some type of big payoff other than the fact that it just happenstance. I would rather it be more, like you said, since he's so meticulous, I would rather it be something that he structured from the jump, and we get that big reveal later. But we got 4
He would
more
have to do a
episodes.
lot. I would refer to it as the Xanatos Gambit. I don't know if you know what this is.
No.
Remember, Gargoyles, the Disney animated series, one of the best series ever created.
Yes, absolutely.
The main villain, Xanatos, he always had these crazy schemes and plans.
That's right.
And they would fail. The good guys would win, and he would do the thing like, it's okay, plan's still going forward, right? So,
yeah.
The whole series was like that,
right?
And so people started calling it the Xanatos Gambit, which basically means it's like it doesn't matter if your plan is successful or if it fails. You're on the right path. So like it would have to be something crazy like that. Because what if Coop didn't rob him? Like, right? Like he had to make sure he robbed him if this was the plan, Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like, that's what I said. It's like he got to be mysterious enough, right? And he has to let the world know he has enough money, and he has to be just enough in the asshole for Coop to be like, "Let me rob this guy."
let me get after this guy. Well, I'm excited to find out. We got 4 more episodes. The only character that was missing in this episode, and I'm glad they didn't try and force it, was Olivia Munn's character, Samantha.
Yeah.
Even though Ashe is dating her and they got a thing, and she's working her way back into the community, and the girl, all of the other housewives are like, they're moving past it, even though Mel's not. I'm glad. I was scared, but I'm glad they did not try to force her coming along and showing her support. Simply, even though Coop seems to be okay with being around her, it's only Mel that's still upset. I just think it still would have been in poor taste. I can't even imagine how the mom would have handled that one.
Yeah. I think that was a smart decision because the mom, I honestly think the mom invited worst person with Bruce. She did. At this point. That was absolutely ridiculous. One thing we didn't touch on was the dad having a side piece.
Oh yeah, that was actually the best part of the episode, but it made sense to me.
Because I was like, the way he dealing with the mom, buddy was like, yeah, man, I need to go ahead. I'm gonna go bowling. I'm gonna get me a side piece, and it was for 10 years.
10 years.
10 years, and unfortunately, it like you said, it made sense. It's not that he didn't love the mom or didn't love his wife. He probably just was like, I'm annoyed with this woman. I'm gonna go spend some time doing something I enjoy, and then met somebody else that enjoys the same
They
thing.
enjoyed the same thing, and they got that emotional
They
connection,
bonded over that.
and it grew. And honestly, as evil as his wife was, I'm like, my goodness, this makes total sense. This was his release. This is how he had to. He would meet once a week, every Thursday, reset, and they go back and tolerate this woman for another week, and they come back and reset. I mean, most people be like, why don't you just leave her? But
I mean, they were older at this point,
yeah,
like,
and he's also the anchor. He's anchoring a lot of stuff. He doesn't know. He knows that his kids, even though the mom is hard, he's worried that they probably still have this super strong attachment to their bond, their image of what their family is, mom and dad. We grew up, he's probably hanging on to that. We have a friend that's doing something stupid like that right now, but I'm not gonna call him out on this podcast. So he was an anchor to a lot of things, and he helped a lot of things flow. And I felt like he stayed in it because he thought he was doing it for everybody. That's just
for everybody. Yeah. And especially for Allie, right? Like it puts her mental health into perspective too, right? She kind of only had one parent kind of like, in her corner.
Right.
And the other one just constantly, questioning her.
Goodness.
So I see, she, it's a chemical imbalance. She has her meds, like whatever, but like the relationship with the mother is not helping things either.
Hopefully she
and they show that in the episode, but like I also think she needed to like snap. Like it was cathartic. It was cathartic for me, so I know it was cathartic for her, right?
I definitely enjoyed it. I was like, yeah, just tell
I was like, finally.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. All right, so guys, please join this conversation. Get in the comments and let us know. Episode 6. What'd you think about it? What are you thinking about this so far? What are your predictions? All right. What do you think this arc is going? Do you think that Ashe and Coop, was this part of a grand scheme that was already there? Do you think that Allison, the sister, Allie, do you think that she is going to continue to stand strong? She's really hanging in there with the mental health thing. Do you think she's going to continue to stand strong? Do you think she's going to do nothing but go in an upwards direction? And we still don't know where Coop's going to go. It seemed, but at the end of the episode, like he kind of got closure. He went to the bowling alley thing with his dad and found out that his dad actually, had something else going on, but it brought him peace. And is this going to cause him to spiral, or is this going to cause him to shift his approach to things? It's going to be interesting to see where it goes. And we got 4 more episodes. So make sure you guys get in the comments and let us know. And again, don't forget, if you like what we're doing here, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on the alerts. Join the collective community. All right. I'm Legacy Lingo. We got Brandon V. Fletcher here. We're the Critics Collective. And this was Your Friends and Neighbors, episode 6, which you can find on Apple TV Plus. All right. Until next time.